The assembly will please come to order. The chief clerk will call the roll.
Assemblywoman Anderson, Assemblywoman Backus, Assemblywoman Bilbra Axelrod, Assemblywoman Brown May, Assemblyman Carter, Assemblywoman Cohen, Assemblywoman Considine, Assemblyman DeLong, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblyman De Silva, Assemblywoman Duran, Assemblywoman Gallant, Assemblywoman Gonzalez, Assemblywoman Gorlow, Assemblyman Gray, Assemblyman Gurr, Assemblyman Hafen, Assemblywoman Hanson, Assemblywoman Hardy, Assemblyman Hibbets, Assemblywoman Hadigi, Assemblywoman Kasama, Assemblyman Koenig, Assemblywoman LaRue Hatch, Assemblywoman Marzola, Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblywoman Brittany Miller, Assemblyman C.H. Miller, Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, Assemblywoman Mosca, Assemblywoman Newby, Assemblyman Nguyen, Assemblyman O'Neill, Assemblyman Ortleger, Assemblywoman Peters, Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong, Assemblywoman Taylor, Assemblywoman Thomas, Assemblywoman Torres, Assemblyman Watts, Assemblyman Urick, Speaker Yeager.
Here. Assemblywoman Hadigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May the record reflect all members are present.
The record shall so reflect. There are 42 present. There is a quorum. The assembly will please rise for the prayer by Pastor Ken Haskins, First Christian Church, Carson City.
Our loving Heavenly Father, you are the very definition of love. For it is written, God is love. You always seek to promote the best interests of all your children. Help us to be more loving and to promote the best interests of others even before ourselves. I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a great day. Appreciate it.
Order of Business 2, reading and approval of the journal.
Carson City, Wednesday, February 22nd.
Assemblywoman Hadigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to dispense with further reading of the journal and allow the Speaker and the Chief Clerk to make any necessary corrections and adjustments.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order of Business 4, reports of standing committees.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Commerce and Labor, to which was referred Assembly Bill 165, has had the similar consideration and begs leave to report the same back. The recommendation do pass. Elaine Marzola, Chair.
Order of Business 7, messages from the Senate.
Senate Chamber, Carson City, February 22nd, 2023. To the Honorable the Assembly, I have the honor to inform your Honorable Body that the Senate on this day passed Senate Bill 13. Sherry Rodriguez, Assistant Secretary of the Senate.
Order of Business 8, motions, resolutions, and notices.
Notice of exemption, February 23, 2023. The Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the eligibility for exemption of Assembly Bills 642, 63, 135, 140, 151, and 153. Sarah Kaufman, Fiscal Analysis Division. Notice of exemption, February 23, 2023. The Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the eligibility for exemption of Senate Bill 10. Wayne Thorley, Fiscal Analysis Division.
Order of Business 9, introduction, first reading, and reference of bills.
Assembly Bill 1218, introduced by Assemblywoman Considine, an act relating to real property prohibiting certain landlords from charging a tenant a fee to make a payment through an internet website or online portal that exceeds the amount of any fee charged by the operator of the internet website or online portal for the use of such service, or requiring a written rental agreement to separately identify such a fee under certain circumstances, requiring any reference in a written rental agreement to the amount of rent due under the agreement to be set forth in a certain manner, establishing certain practices as deceptive trade practices, providing penalty, and providing other matters properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Marzola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 218 be referred to your Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 219, introduced by Assemblywoman Considine, an act relating to governmental administration requiring under certain circumstances a public body to have an additional period devoted to public comment when a public meeting is continued to another day, prohibiting with certain exceptions a public body from considering any item that is not set forth on the original agenda for the meeting if the meeting is continued to a date other than the date set forth on the agenda for the meeting, requiring under certain circumstances a public body to post a copy of the notice of a meeting at a building in which the meeting is to be held, requiring under certain circumstances a meeting agenda to include clear and complete instructions for a member of the general public to call into a meeting to provide public comment, requiring a member of a public body to attend a certain number of meetings of a public body in person at a physical location, requiring under certain circumstances instructions for a member of the general public to call into a meeting to provide public comment to be read verbally verbatim before each period devoted to public comment begins, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that AB 219 be referred to your jovial Committee on Government Affairs.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 220, introduced by the Committee on Natural Resources, an act relating to water, requiring certain property owners with a septic tank to connect to community sewerage disposal system by January 1, 2054, revising provisions relating to a permit to operate a water system, revising provisions relating to water and sewer facilities, revising provisions relating to tentative maps and final maps for a subdivision of land, establishing minimum standards for certain landscaping, irrigation fixtures in new construction and expansions and renovations in certain structures, revising provisions relating to grants of money for water conservation, requiring the state engineer to restrict withdrawals of groundwater under certain circumstances, revising provisions relating to groundwater in certain designated areas, revising conditions under which the state engineer may require the plugging of certain wells used for domestic purposes, defining certain terms relating to the Conservation of Colorado River Water Act, authorizing the Board of Regents of the Southern Nevada Water Authority to enact certain restrictions on water use for single-family residences under certain circumstances, prohibiting with certain exceptions the use of waters of the Colorado River for certain purposes, establishing requirements relating to an irrigation water efficiency monitoring program, revising certain provisions relating to the use of waters of the Colorado River to irrigate non-functional turf, authorizing the authority to operate a program to convert properties using a septic system to a municipal sewer system and to impose a fee for such a program, authorizing the general manager of the authority to restrict the use of water under certain circumstances and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It was a long one.
I move that Assembly Bill 220 be referred to your Committee on Natural Resources.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 221, introduced by the Committee on Natural Resources, an act relating to wildlife, authorizing the management of designated terrestrial invertebrates by the Board of Wildlife Commissioners and the Department of Wildlife, revising the definition of wildlife to include designated terrestrial invertebrates, establishing a wildlife classification for designated terrestrial invertebrates, requiring the listing of designated terrestrial invertebrates as a fully protected species under certain circumstances, providing penalty and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 221 be referred to your Committee on Natural Resources.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 222, introduced by Assemblyman Carter et al., Senator Wynn. An act relating to the Public Employees Retirement System, revising the computation of credit for service for certain members of the Public Employees Retirement System who are employed by a school district and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that AB 222 be referred to your magnificent Committee on Government Affairs.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 223, introduced by Assemblyman Carter et al., Senator Wynn. An act relating to collection agencies, requiring a collection agency to provide a payoff letter upon the request of a debtor, authorizing a debtor to bring civil action against a collection agency that violates that requirement, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Marzola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 223 be referred to your Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 224, introduced by Assemblyman Peters et al., Senators Wynn et al. An act relating to collective bargaining, authorizing collective bargaining for certain state employees, providing for the recognition of professional organizations, providing for the establishment of bargaining units, and the designation of exclusive representatives, establishing certain rights for professional organizations and professional employees, establishing procedures for collective bargaining and for making collective bargaining agreements, authorizing the Government Employee Management Relations Board to collect certain fees, prohibiting certain practices relating to collective bargaining, authorizing a state professional employer to use the services of the Division of Human Resource Management of the Department of Administration and the Attorney General for certain purposes, authorizing the Board of Regents of the University of Nevada to conduct collective bargaining negotiations and enter into collective bargaining agreements with certain employees, providing civil penalty and providing other matters properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that AB 224 be referred to your United Committee on Government Affairs.
Without objection, so referred.
Senate Bill 13, introduced by the Committee on Natural Resources, an act relating to pest control, revising references to certain federal statutes related to pesticides, clarifying that pest control includes certain acts conducted as a function of certain governmental entities, revising certain requirements relating to records of sale or distribution of restricted use pesticides, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Senate Bill 13 be referred to your Committee on Natural Resources.
Without objection, so referred. Order of Business 12, General File, and third reading.
Assembly Bill 152, introduced by the Committee on Ways and Means. An act making an appropriation to restore the balance in the reserve for statutory contingency account and providing other matters properly in there too. The people of the state of Nevada represented in Senate and Assembly do enact as follows. Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 or the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 152 makes a one-time general fund appropriation of $42,139,109 to restore the balance in the reserve of the statutory contingency account, which was included in the executive budget.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the Chief Clerk will open the roll. Anyone wishing to change their vote? The Chief Clerk will record the vote. There are 42 ayes, 0 nays. The bill having received a constitutional majority, I declare it passed. The bill is ordered transmitted to the Senate.
Senate Bill 124, introduced by the Committee on Finance, an act relating to taxation, revising the manner by which a portion of the revenue generated by the tax upon the net proceeds of minerals and royalties of mining operations is distributed to the State Education Fund, revising provisions relating to the transfer of money to the Education Stabilization Account in the State Education Fund, clarifying the treatment of the proceeds of such a tax within a county school district fund, clarifying the status of money contained in such a fund on a certain date, providing for the early expiration of certain requirements regarding the imposition and advance payment of a portion of the tax upon net proceeds of minerals and royalties, and providing other matters properly in there too. The people of the state of Nevada represented in Senate and Assembly do enact as follows. Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 6, end of Section 6, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 or the bill as a whole?
I have amendment number 3, proposed by Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno.
Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Amendment Number 3 to Senate Bill 124.
Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno has moved for the adoption of Assembly Amendment 3 to Senate Bill 124. Remarks?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The amendment makes adjustments to Section 1.5 of the bill. Section 1.5 of this bill makes a conforming change relating to the use of actual rather than budgeted ending fund balances and expenditures.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. The amendment is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
The bill is ordered reprinted, re-engrossed, and to general file. Assemblywoman Howdegui.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the Assembly stand in a 1-minute recess.
We'll be in a 1-minute recess. Members, don't go far. We're just waiting for the reprinted bill. The Assembly will come back to order. We'll now go back to Order of Business 12, General File and Third Reading.
Senate Bill 124, introduced by the Committee on Finance, enacting taxation, revising the manner by which a portion of the revenue generated by the tax upon the net proceeds of minerals and royalties of mining operations is distributed to the State Education Fund, revising provisions relating to the transfer of money to the Education Stabilization Account in the State Education Fund, clarifying the treatment of the proceeds of such a tax within a county school district fund, clarifying the status of the money contained in such a fund on a certain date, providing for the early expiration of certain requirements regarding the imposition and advance payment of a portion of the tax upon the net proceeds of minerals and royalties, and providing other matters properly thereto. The people's state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 6, end of Section 6, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 124, as amended, revises and clarifies existing provisions pertaining to the money received by the county school districts from the tax upon the net proceeds of minerals and royalties of mining operations, and the requirement to transfer such money to the State Education Fund. The bill also advances to June 30th, 2022 from June 30th, 2023, the expirations of the requirement that entities make advance payments of the portion of the tax upon net proceeds of minerals and royalties of mining operations owed to the State General Fund based upon estimates for the current calendar year. Senate Bill 124, as amended, further revises the method used to calculate annual transfers from county school districts to the Education Stabilization Account in the State Education Fund to use actual instead of budgeted ending fund balances and expenditures.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the Chief Clerk will open the roll. Anyone wishing to change their vote? Anyone wishing to change your vote? The Chief Clerk will record the vote. There are 37 ayes, 5 nays. The bill having received a constitutional majority, I declare it passed. The bill is ordered immediately transmitted to the Senate. We'll go to Order of Business 15, remarks from the floor. Assemblyman Hafen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is Nurses' Day at the Legislature. I'm so excited. Some of you know that my mother is a nurse. She was a nurse, let's see, I'm 40, so a little bit longer than that. I don't want to age her. But to this day, she's still practicing. And she, I have to say thank you, Mom. She's at my son's school today. She's kind of the substitute fill-in nurse. She works 2 days a week. I love what you all do. I'm so honored to be able to recognize you today, and thank you. And so I'm going to ask my colleagues to please join me in thanking all of the nurses. Please stand so we can recognize you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Do you want to stand? I rise today to give recognition and honor part of my constituency and a city that is home to many of us. Henderson was born in the heart of World War II and built the bombs and the planes that defeated dictators and brought democracy to Europe and Asia. Over the last 75 years, a small community that President Kennedy called the City of Destiny has grown to become the second largest city in our state that is ranked one of the top places to live in all of America, with world-class parks, with hiking trails, and vibrant community and civic centers. Henderson is really an economic and cultural engine that helps drive our state and offers a home to so many families. Today, I am honored to be joined by the City of Henderson's Mayor Michelle Romero, who was elected in 2022 as the 14th Mayor of Henderson. Prior to her elected service, Mayor Romero served the City of Henderson for 25 years in several capacities. A native of Henderson, Mayor Romero represents the city on the Civilian Military Council, the board of directors of both the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance and the Southern Nevada Health District, and as one of the chief local elected officials overseeing the Board of Workforce Connections. She was honored as Elected Official of the Year in 2020 by the Nevada chapter of the American Planning Association. Will the chamber please help me in making Mayor Romero feel welcomed in our home?
Assemblywoman Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I needed to take a moment of personal privilege, with it being Nurses Day, to do a shout out and a thank you to my mother-in-law, my beloved mother-in-law, who's passed about 3 years ago. 40 years of nursing in the Reno-Sparks area, a great role model for my children, Nurse of the Year. You know, sometimes people say, why do you have so many kids? Well, my husband and I wanted to solve the healthcare crisis in Nevada, so we gave birth to 3 of our 4 daughters are nurses. Our son is a doctor, and my daughter-in-law is a nurse practitioner. So I want to take a moment, and several of them educated right here in the state of Nevada for their nursing and medical career. I want to take a moment of personal privilege to thank you nurses, you nurse educators, you nurse practitioners, nurse anesthetists, for what you do for our rural nurses and healthcare workers, and also to thank you for being there, much like my children are, that are there to help bring in new life, that are there when those are passing on into the next life, and then all along the journey in between, helping us to be comforted and cared for. And after what you've been through over the last few years with the COVID crisis, truly, on behalf of all of us, we give you our sincere thanks. Thank you so much.
Assemblywoman Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I have the pleasure of announcing my guests here that are seated with me. Right now I have Mr. Rufus Montgomery, President of 31 HBCU Change. He resides in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's also an Army veteran, Desert Storm vet. So please welcome him right now. Thank you. Also, my guest is Stacy Lockhart. She is CEO of Hope Link for Southern Nevada, a 31-year-old nonprofit that prevents homelessness throughout Southern Nevada. Please welcome her also. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Assemblywoman Hardy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am privileged today to have with me Ward 4 Councilman Dan Stewart. He was appointed to serve the residents of Henderson in January of 2017 and was subsequently elected to the position in April 2019. He is my councilman in my district. He currently serves as Mayor Pro Tem of Henderson. He currently represents Henderson on several regional boards, including the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition, the Clark County Debt Management Commission, and the Southern Nevada Water Authority. He is a fourth-generation Nevadan with a diverse background in both the public and private sectors that includes engineering, real estate, banking, construction, and public service. And it is a special honor today to have him sitting with me, as we are related. He's my cousin. We come from the same direct descendant line of the Stewart family. We have a special book here that was published with our the Stewart family descendants that settled here in Nevada in the 1800s. It has since been updated. This was probably 16 years ago. There are thousands of descendants that we proudly come from, and when we found that connection, it was so special to me, and so he's not only a dear friend, but I'm so proud that we're family. So please welcome him here today.
Assemblyman Nguyen. Microphone, please.
Sorry. I'm so excited to introduce my constituent. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is Lisa Pacheco, awesome constituent of District 8, the most awesome district in Nevada. Lisa has dedicated 30 years of her career in the public health space, and I'm so honored to have her sit with me today. She has served on the Office of Minority Health Pacific and Southwest Region 9. That's a national council, and she also served with me many years ago as one of the founding members of the Nevada Minority Health and Equity Coalition. What is also important, and I'm so proud of this accomplishment, is that in May, she will be graduating with a degree in Doctor of Public Policy at University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and will come back to this building and ensure that her voice is heard. So thank you, and please make her feel welcome.
Assemblyman O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I may not look it, but actually I have 6 grandchildren. My oldest grandchildren, I know you're shocked. My oldest grandson, Staten Colby Lubitch, is turning 11 today. Unfortunately, he's also a resident of the state of Texas, back east. I would like to have us all wish him a happy birthday, and I would ask that it be put into the journal that we did this, because I was just reminded while we were sitting here, I forgot to send him a birthday card by my daughter. So I will send him a copy of the journal, if it may be so, Mr. Speaker.
We will include it in the journal.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday, Staten.
Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is still Black History Month, and today is Nurses Day at the Legislature. And I would like to introduce you to Mary Eliza Mahoney. For those of you who have been denied the tales of Mahoney's excellence, she is heralded as the first African-American licensed nurse in the United States of America. She worked in nursing for more than 40 years. Mahoney's story starts in 1845 in Boston, Massachusetts, where she was born to freed slaves. Her exact date of birth is unknown, but she is believed to have been born in the spring, according to the National Women's History Museum. Even as a teenager, Mahoney knew she wanted to become a nurse, and she began working at the New England Hospital for Women and Children. Mahoney worked from the ground up for over 15 years in jobs such as janitor, cook, and washerwoman, while also seizing the opportunity to become a nurse's aide. The hospital operated one of the first nursing schools in the United States, and in 1878, a 33-year-old Mahoney was allowed to enter the hospital's first professional graduate school for nursing. It was an intensive 16-month training program, and according again to the National Women's History Museum, of the 42 students that began, only 4, including Mahoney, graduated in 1879, making her the first recorded Black woman to receive a professional nursing license. In 1908, she founded some organization called the National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses after experiencing some, racism in that other nurses organization. But we know that Black women have had a long history of healing and midwifery around the world, but we are so proud that Mary Eliza Mahoney paved the way for Black women in the field of licensed nursing. Thank you.
Assemblyman Hafen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm going to dovetail off my colleague from District 6, and I want to speak on an unsung hero, Robert Smalls. Robert Smalls was born into slavery in South Carolina. He spent his time learning how to sail and became a ship's mate during the Civil War. He tried desperately to buy freedom for his family, but he could not afford it. So what would he do? What any great American hero would do. He waited till night, and he stole the ship from the Confederates. He not only freed himself, but he picked up his family on the way, along with his crew members and his crew members' family. He had learned the hand signals. He pretended to be a Confederate soldier by putting on the uniform, to get through the checkpoints. And at dawn, he was able to enter into a Union ship and surrender. As a reward, he received $1,500 in exchange for the Confederate ship. After that, he went on to go and meet with President Lincoln to ask to join the Union Army and let other African Americans join the Army to fight for everyone's freedom. After the end of the Civil War, he took that $1,500, went back to South Carolina, and he purchased the house where he was born a slave. I get a little goosebumps just talking about this. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. He went on to become a U.S. Congressman for the state of South Carolina. And to me, there is no greater story of an American hero. And I want to ask that each one of us, while we're in this building, we be unafraid to do the right thing, even if it is stealing a boat, to make sure that we're doing a difference for generations to come. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Do we have any other order of business 15? Assemblywoman Kasama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to have my guest rise. This is Dr. Susan Van Booge, and she works at the Valley Endocrinology Clinic in Summerlin in my district, Assembly District 2. And she is here visiting today. She is a nurse practitioner and has been practicing in Nevada for over 20 years and is celebrating her 30th anniversary as a nurse in 2023. She is a board-certified family nurse practitioner and sees patients in the area of endocrinology. Dr. Van Booge is a health policy advocate leader and was part of the team that gave nurse practitioners full practice authority in the 2013 legislative session. Please welcome her.
Any other order of business 15? Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Some announcements for the floor. As everyone knows, it's Nurses Day today, so please be sure to stop by Fox's Brewery today from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. for a reception. We also have the Nevada Taxpayers Association dinner at the Casino Fandango from 5:30 to 9 p.m. And don't forget to stop by the front foyer to visit the Our Story exhibit. And tomorrow is Public Medical Education Day, so please be sure to swing by for breakfast at 7:30 a.m. in room 3100. And Mr. Speaker, seeing no other of business, I move that the Assembly stand adjourned until Monday, February 27th at the hour of 11:30 a.m. Thank you.
Assemblywoman Howdigi has moved the Assembly stand adjourned until Monday, February 27, 2023 at the hour of 11:30 a.m. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.